Hi everybody, I'm Corey Poirier and wanted to tune in today because this is actually the very first in what is intended to be a weekly tips video blog. And essentially what we're going to do is hopefully share a tip each time out, or a lesson each time out, that you can make use of and apply to your life or your business, hopefully for the betterment of both. So this week what I wanted to talk about is the act of having gratitude. So in other words, being grateful for things in your life and literally sitting down and counting your blessings and listing the things that you should be grateful for. I'm not talking about spending a lot of time doing this. I'm literally just talking one thing per day. And what I'm suggesting that you do is you actually sit down and just write down the thing I'm grateful for today is. And what I believe that'll do is that'll help you put things in perspective. You know, the days that you have challenges and things that you want to overcome, it'll help you realize that sometimes these obstacles aren't as big as we make them, and sometimes we don't have it as bad as we believe or think we do. What triggered this to be the first topic is I did an interview this past week with a gentleman named Mark Black. Now, Mark is a heart and double lung transplant recipient, and he had, of course, some major challenges dealing with that situation. He's went on to become a professional speaker, also a three-time marathon runner, and very inspirational person. And I'm sure a lot of people have looked at Mark's story, and it's allowed them to realize that their life may not be as bad as they think, or maybe they don't have as many challenges as they think. I believe it allows them to put things in perspective, and I believe that's what Mark wants to do. He wants people to realize by looking at his story that anything is truly possible, and that you can start from any point. In his case, having to go through those operations and go through those challenges in life, those health related challenges, and then go on, in his case, to become, like I say, a three-time marathon runner and also a professional speaker, and carry the schedule that us speakers also take on as well. So, very inspirational story, but also I believe if you use that story in the right way, it can help you look at your life in a perspective to realize that you do have a lot of blessings that you can be thankful for. And maybe you don't have a situation like Mark's, and it just maybe allows you to realize that the challenges aren't as big, or the mountain isn't as big as we sometimes think it is. What also triggered me to decide to talk about Mark's story is another Mark that I interviewed a couple of years ago by the name of Mark Joffney. Now, Mark Joffney is someone who's a singer-songwriter. He supports his family with his performances. He travels all over North America. He's an Emmy nominee. And probably the thing that surprises most people is, even though he's a singer-songwriter and plays guitar and bass, Mark Joffney was actually born with no arms. So Mark had to teach himself how to play bass and guitar with his feet at 12 or 13 years old. So why I bring Mark Joffney up, the second Mark, it's kind of coincidental that they're both names are Mark, but why I bring Mark Joffney up is he's the person that when I interviewed him a number of years back, he's the person, and I told Mark this, that I actually, whenever I looked at things and I'm having a rough day and I'm thinking that, I have it so tough and I have these major challenges that somebody else doesn't have, all I have to do is put things in perspective by looking at the challenges that Mark Joffney and even Mark Black have had to overcome in their life, and it makes me realize that, you know what, maybe I don't have it as bad as I sometimes feel I do, and maybe I started out with some advantages that both of them didn't have, and I should be grateful for them. So, that said, what my hope is that you'll do in terms of homework, or the takeaway, is that you'll sit down for the next week, just for 7 days, and each day write down the one thing that you have to be grateful for that day. And then at the end of the week, hopefully you'll be able to look at that list and reflect and see that maybe you have a lot of blessings in your life that you don't necessarily always count up. And secondly, hopefully you'll be able to look at that list in a year's time and realize that that again, on those days where you're having a little bit harder, or you have those major challenges, if you look at that list, maybe that'll allow you to put things in perspective. And I'm going to do the same, so hopefully when I check back in a week's time, I'll be able to share my experience with you, and hopefully you'll be able to have a list of 7 things that you're truly grateful for. And like I say, maybe you'll be able to refer to that list often at times whenever you're having a dark day or a tough day, and maybe it'll help put things in perspective. Until that time, thank you. I'm Corey Poirier, and see you when I see you.